The history of the Christian Methodist Episcopal Church. It was Thursday morning. The black preacher rose from his prayers. He went outside and saddled his horse for the familiar ride into town. That morning his soul was filled with eager anticipation. He would not, as he had on so many other occasions, guide his horse to Liberty Street, where the colored church was located. Rather, he would head towards 2nd Street, to the white church. On that day, the preacher was on his way to join 40 other African American men representing 8 annual conferences of the Methodist Episcopal Church South. They were coming to establish their own church. The town was Jackson, Tennessee. The date was December 15th, and the year was 1870. That evening, they devoted themselves to prayer and committed to God. The next day, they organized the Christian Methodist Episcopal Church in America, the CME Church, and the preacher was Isaac Lane. John and Charles Wesley and a handful of other Oxford students devoted themselves to a rigorous search for holiness and service to others. The Holy Club, the name given to John and Charles Wesley's group by their fellow collegians in mockery of their emphasis on devotions, was the first sign of what would later become Methodism. Begun by Charles and led by John, after his return to Oxford, the Holy Club members fasted until 3 p.m. on Wednesdays and Fridays. They received Holy Communion once each week, and they studied the Greek New Testament and visited the sick and prisoners. The true beginning of Methodism was on Wednesday, May 24th, 1738. On this day, John Wesley visited a service on Aldersgate Street. As a layman was reading the work of Martin Luther, John Wesley said his heart felt strangely warm, and he knew in his heart that Jesus had taken away his sin and saved him from the law of sin and death. John Wesley and the early Methodists were opposed to slavery. However, by 1830, the Methodist Episcopal Church had become a slave-holding church, and this issue of slavery caused a separation in the Methodist Episcopal Church. Members of the Methodist Episcopal Church who lived in the North believed in the abolition of slavery. However, the Methodist Episcopal Church South continued to hold slaves until slaves were freed after the Civil War in 1865. In 1866, at the next General Conference, Isaac Lane recounts that the blacks requested their own separate and independent church, patterned after their own ideas and notions. The Methodist Episcopal Church South authorized the establishment of those colored members into a separate General Conference jurisdiction and agreed to have the official organizing General Conference for colored members on December 16, 1870. From such humble beginnings, the CME Church has become a major denomination among the Christian churches of the world. Today it reports over 800,000 members, 3,000 churches, 3,200 preachers organized into 34 annual conferences, divided into 10 Episcopal districts with 10 active bishops, 2 of which come from this church, Bishop Thomas L. Hoyt and Bishop James B. Walker. In 2010, we elected our first female bishop, Bishop Teresa Snorton. The CME Church has 5 institutions of higher learning: Payne College, Lane College, Miles College, Texas College, and Phillips School of Theology. Its boundaries reach from the United States to Africa, to Haiti, and Jamaica. Happy 142nd birthday to your church and mine, the Christian Methodist Episcopal Church. May God continue to bless, increase, and use you.